So like there's a bunch of stuff I haven't been talking about for a long time, and I'm not gonna have time to talk about it anymore and stuff. It doesn't look like it. Oh no, I better manifest perfection and everything. Blah 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 blah. So like when I left Columbus, like I had plans, but I left because people were pushing me around, and then I was like testing living on the road, so I would travel to cities that surround Columbus and just like live out there, without knowing what I'm doing. And then when I would like be in like parking lots and stuff, I would wake up with like people like over on the hill looking at my car, and just it was like really obvious that there was like people fucking paying more attention to me than they should. And so I traveled like 10,000 miles recently, and I seen what I need to see within like a few thousand miles, that there's something else going on. And then it made me start thinking, eventually everything I seen, that everyone else is involved in some shit here. And it makes me look back on my past. And it definitely feels like that. Like I had said that years ago. I said crazy shit like one of the famous people who worked with Alex Jones had came to my house and bought my car from me after it broke. And that was like after I probably mentioned several times that it's just weird, my car breaks down and no one will fix it, and it has these weird things. Although it was custom and I had to mess with it because no one else could understand it. I mean, they could, but not everything, right? It was up to me to figure it out. There's no manual on my car. It was like a show car that was provided, and then didn't know what to do. But like I eventually had like weird stuff happen. Like my car started making lots of weird noises, and then I stopped at this place and spoke with this person, and it stopped, and he was like, "There's nothing wrong with your car," and it's like, "Oh, but there was." It sounded like the car was dying and stuff. Yeah, on in your prayers. I'm sure that helps. Okay, sorry. I actually got a text message from a real person. That was a mistake, I think. But yeah, I had several people approach me, and after the car thing happened, and they said like, are you gonna go back west? Like, what about if your car breaks down going back out west? And they said specific things like, these are like, I was traveling, man, so these people were supposed to be far apart, and they said some of the same shit, and it felt like I was being like threatened and stuff to shut the fuck up, and basically it felt like I was being told I'm already trapped. I fell into the trap, and it's like, well, I kind of figured that out, like, before I fell into it. Like, I just didn't understand fully, like, there's something else going on in this world. And, so, like, since about that time, I stopped talking, and I stopped making videos. I mean, the first, like, 2,000 miles, I was scared to make videos because I couldn't. I was like busy like racing around city to city trying to like ditch whatever's following me and stuff, and trying to like analyze what it is and shit. And so I even like went to some cities and went back to other cities and then continued my journey and stuff. And it seemed like all this crazy stuff, like, I didn't want to post any videos about it because of the threats and stuff. And I didn't post any videos. I thought like maybe they'd like calm down and like not fuck me up too badly if I just shut the fuck up. But apparently that's not how it works. Apparently shit just, it looked like I'm at a point now where I don't think talking would have fucking helped anyways. Who am I talking to, right? Like I understand, like I probably had government agents come into my life like 10 years ago, right? I've made videos and I've mentioned that, and I've showed little memorabilia they've given me and as well and shit. So not everything I'm talking about is bullshit, right? Like I've shown you guys, like expensive items you can't obtain unless you're even richer than that expensive item is. Very unique stuff that you can't obtain unless you're hanging out with certain groups and shit. And so I wasn't sure who that was. I wasn't sure if that was the shadow government or the government coming in my life back then. But it felt really suspect them sending some beautiful, high, like, ranking rich person into my life because I, to myself, said I was going to run for president and I was getting political and I was trying to attract a lot of attention back in, like, 2012 and stuff. Like, this has been when I announced a run for 2020, like, that had been a long time in the making. I knew, like, if I run my mouth about everything else and I shut the fuck up about what's important, then it'll look like I'm saying everything that's important and it will not draw any attention to what I say, what I really plan, like, which was like, fucking, I don't know. I think they showed me when I'm young how I die, so I have to find a cliff. And, like, you gotta recycle, I guess, in this world or some shit. So that's, like, part of it. But the other part was, like, just certain things happening. And I thought, like, maybe if I shut up, that they'll, like, you know, let off the gas pedal. Because it's, like, it feels, like, hopeless and shit. I'm the only person doing any, like, attempting to go after this shit and see what's going on and shit who, like, understands it to any sort of degree. And everyone else who reached a level I did a long time ago, they probably sold out. Just like they tried to, like, get me to do some shit, some newscasts with them, with Alex Jones and all that shit. And this was actually after Alex Jones' crew ran me off and shit. So it's like, I don't know if that dude knew what he was saying, but Alex Jones wasn't going to let me on. But he was, like, real tight with Alex Jones and shit. And you could tell, like, I mean, people don't travel thousands of miles and shit to pick up a cheap broken down car for nothing and stuff. So, you know, like, when I started adding all this shit up, I just kind of, like, felt like I was alone in this world. And, like, I let that be known. Like, I talked out loud because I realized I'm being watched and stuff. And so it began testing, you know, like, what people around me are going to do and, you know, if anyone's actually really on my side. And now there's some weird instances there where I felt like I was laughed at by certain groups where I was pretty sure those groups were, like, there to fuck me up. But they just showed to, like, laugh at me and stuff. And on top of that, I, like, slammed on the gas after that. And these people could have fucking lit me up and shit. And I don't see why they wouldn't have. Like, technically, they probably would have lit anyone up in my situation, not just, like, took a simple, are you who we're looking for? And I'm like, no. Long stories that go fucking, that mean nothing to no one, right? I made videos here and there, and I tried to reference what was going on every now and then, but I had to, like, make sure I didn't really talk about that stuff. Just like the recent video I posted, like, it got banned. It was like an anti-war video, but it supposedly got banned for some little small freaking thing I said and in between all that stuff. And it's like, who knows how much stuff I actually said in between, you know, stop the war against the Arabs and all that shit. Who knows, like, the small talk I actually said in between that. Like, I probably mentioned everything I could because I've been, like, fucked up and terrified ever since they started following me and shit. And they can't be good people, because if they're good people, they would frickin' tell me who they are, right? Like, they wouldn't be hiding in the shadows and shit. Like, I don't have to hide, you know? I make mistakes. I claim my mistakes and shit, but other people, like, whatever these groups are, like, they're hiding in the shadows, even though they did some crazy shit. So I'm not even sure how many groups there are following me, right? Because, like, one group, like some of them look distinctively different, but maybe not. Maybe it was just them trying to show me at that point that, hey, like, we're in control and we do what we want here. But, they did some shit one time. Of course, like, when they helped me, they were, like, fostering me into the place I am now, which, like, looking at the map and the terrain and all that, strategic warfare, it was like, I was looking at this like, whoa, like, I really just walked into something, didn't I? And this also is where shit's going on. So I gotta go, guys. The boss is here. See you.